Just to recollect what we discussed last week before we close the session, Swami has started talking about the type of delusion which Arjuna is suffering. Swami says the 12th sloka in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita is the seed sloka for the entire Bhagavad Gita, Swami says. And he tells Arjuna, Krishna is telling Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you are grieving for that which should not be grieved for. And your words sound as if you are a Pandita, or who knows everything. But a real Pandita is not affected like the way you are acting. And then Swami goes on to say that there are two types of delusions which he's suffering from. One is a normal one is an abnormal one. And then Swami also lists the slokas in chapter 2 which deal with each of those. Swami says the 12th, 30th shloka deals with the first problem. Then there are 8 shlokas on which Krishna is describing what dharma is, which deals with the second problem. And then Swami also says at the end of chapter 2, the Sthita Prajna, who is not affected by the dualities of life, is described. So that's where we were. We discussed briefly, if I remember correctly. We will continue from where we left off. Sai Ram, sisters, go ahead.
Sai Ram. Thus Krishna started giving him in the very first instance the most effective drug, jnana. This is detailed from the 11th shloka of the second chapter. This is a key shloka for all students of the Gita. Krishna condemns outright 2 objections that were haunting Arjuna for long, saying that the destruction of the body does not mean the destruction of the Atma, and that he is grieving for those he need not grieve for. Prajna Vadam, I can't really say that. I don't want to not say that properly. Anna, if you want to read that bit.
Prajna Vadamscha Bhashase.
Thank you. You talk like a wise man. You say this is dharma and the other is adharma, as if you know how to distinguish them, said Krishna. Here, attention has to be paid to one fact. Arjuna is suffering from 2 types of delusion, ordinary and out of the ordinary, to confuse the body with oneself and pine for the body as if something has happened to you in the ordinary delusion. To discard one's own dharma, in this case, the dharma of Shastriya warrior, as a dharma is a delusion out of the ordinary. Krishna destroys the first and removes the second. The first is dealt from the 12th to the 30th shloka of the second chapter. Krishna has to tackle the second as a special problem and explain in 8 shloka the idea of Sudharma, or his own dharma, to Arjuna. These are collectively called Dharma Shastras. Sudharma does not bind and produce further birth. It can lead on to liberation. It has to be done as karma yoga, without attachment to the fruit. Towards the close of the second chapter, there is also the description of the successful aspirant who has studied himself in a purified intellect, the Chitta Prajna.
Okay, thank you, sisters. So there's nothing much for me to add other than whatever I have already spoken. I will open it up for any discussion. Anyone would like to share anything, please go ahead.
Sairam, it's in the middle of one paragraph. It says Krishna destroyed the first, removed the second. What is the difference between the destroying and the removing? Is it the same? Maybe that there are two types of delusion. First, Krishna destroyed, second, removed. So the difference between the reason I am asking, first one is destroyed, second one is removed. So the maybe first sort of delusion only be destroyed and the second one only can be removed. Is it any major difference between the words Swami has chosen, destroying and the removing? In the ordinary sense, I thought it's both are same. You know, they're removing something and destroying something.
Swami alone knows, sister. But anyway, if anyone has something to say, please go ahead. I'll just
I was wondering why Swami has used two different terminologies, because of if there is any difference. I know that Swami has already said that, you know, the first set of the delusion and the second set of, you know, the delusion, maybe the destroyed and removed. I thought whether there should be a particular purpose. Swami has used these terminologies.
yeah, I understand, sister. Maybe I think I would. Maybe it's good to discuss when I saw the words in Telugu. I really don't. One is Swami is using two different words, Nirasistu and Nivaristu. You know, two words Swami has used. Basically, I think destroying and removing. I think the first one is I think everyone suffers from. You know, it is that we knowing that we thinking that we are the body. This is nothing but I think it's ego to some extent, and I think that needs to be completely destroyed because it is so ingrained in everyone. Because it's so ingrained in everyone, the only way to get rid of it is to completely destroy it, I think. The other one is something which Arjuna has temporarily put on. You know, he is a Kshatriya and he knows what a Kshatriya has to do. But in this case, I think he had just, it was, maybe it's easy to be removed, you know, because it was something, you know, something which he had recently put on.
Maybe temporary, that's why.
Temporary, I think so. That's why Swami is calling it asadharana, means it is something which is just out, which is not ingrained in a person. It's, I think so, that may be a reason, because that may be easier to remove than the first one. First one is everyone is in this world, in this created world, has to somehow get rid of. I think that's my understanding. Maybe just Swami wanted to just highlight that fact. There are things which we temporarily temporary delusion versus permanent delusion.
Maybe
Also.
that I also thought, while you are explaining, maybe first one, it's really hard to get rid of, that's why you have to really destroy with the purpose. The second one, maybe if you understand, you can easily, just to remove, it's destroying. When we use the word destroying, maybe it's really hard to remove. You have to really use force and the effort to remove that one. The other one, maybe the easily temporary thing, so easily you can sweep away or something. Maybe that may be the reason Swami used those two different words.
I think it's just like if we have a plaster or something put on the body, you can just rip it off and throw it. But if the problem has gone inside, it's an internal issue. You have to destroy it slowly. Because it has spread everywhere in the body. It's like a disease.
Yeah.
It requires destruction. You can't just take it off like a band-aid.
Yeah.
Or bandage. Okay, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now I understand why Swami said the two different. Yeah.
So that's my guess. So that's what I would say. Others can also, if anyone feels differently, can share. I think if there's no one saying anything, maybe we can move on because Swami is continuing to discuss this further.
Brother,
Krishna,
Brother Sairam, sorry, somebody else was talking.
no, go ahead. I was about to read. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Sairam, brother. So when we were discussing about the destroy and the removal, so destroy, you find it as something, it's coming from the from the previous birth. So what kind of example you can give at this point from Arjuna's point of view? What is he thinking as to be destroy and which one he thinks we can remove? Remove, I can see that all of a sudden he doesn't want to fight for it. That he can explain to him because of the attachment ego. And which one he's referring here to destroy?
Thinking that one is the body, sister, that's what Swami is saying, confusing ourselves with the body or the mind is what Swami is treating as the ordinary sadharana delusion, moham, and which is ingrained in us so much. Not only Arjuna, all of us. That's my, and others can. So here Arjuna has not diagnosed the problem. The problem was diagnosed by Krishna, the doctor.
Yes. Okay. So I'm trying to understand that point of view. That's it. Okay.
Brother
okay.
Dasan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So yes, brother. So first one, I agree that body consciousness that has to be destroyed. Second one, because of the delusion, his cousins and those kind of relationship, grandfather, those kind of relationship. Do you think if in that case, if there's no grandfather relationship there, if others standing again up front of the wall, do you think Krishna will have any confusion to fight against them because of their relationship? He has attachment. If some other people mean, I think he would have continued the war. Yeah.
Yeah, Arjuna would have fought.
Exactly.
His entire life he has been fighting.
Yes. Because of the attachment, he's worried because of because of their relatives. Thank you.
Okay, Sister Narmada, you can.
Krishna continued his discourse. Arjuna, think for a while. who you are and what you are proposing to do. You declare you know everything, but yet you weep like a helpless woman. Your words proclaim that you are a pandit, but your acts reveal you as a simpleton. Hearing you, one would infer you are a wise, liberated man. But seeing you, one would find that you are a Anjani, ignominious. Your condition is disgusting, to say the least. Well, if I take you to be a pandit, I cannot reconcile that view with your tears, for pandits do not grieve over life and death. If they grieve, they are no pandits. Pandits have the capacity to discover what is fundamentally true. Those who know the secret of the physical and the mystery of the spiritual, such alone can be called pandits. How then can they weep over either the embodied or the disembodied? They will not forego their inner calm, whatever the stress or distress.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami is basically explaining that the verse which already he mentioned is the seed, where you're talking like a pandit, and Swami is elaborating on that shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, and whatever is contained in that shloka, that principle Swami is explaining. So there's nothing much for me to add. I will open it up for any discussion. Sai.
Sai Ram, I don't know. This is
Yes, sir.
very, very real in our life. We all think we are pandits, and not knowing what the truth is, we talk like a pandit. Now, that is a situation we always do, right? So Arjuna is a good example to all of us.
Yes. Right. Yes, Auntie.
Sairam, I also thought that Swami, it could be ancient days, maybe helpless woman, that would be the least kind of, but if rather than saying helpless man, or it could be anyone, helpless person, the Swami said, you declare you know everything, but you weep like a helpless woman. Maybe ancient days, maybe the helpless woman, they would cry or weep for anything and everything. Maybe even for simple thing, they will cry. Maybe that may be the reason Swami would have said that, even though you declare yourself, or you think yourself you are a pandit, but you cry like a the helpless person. Maybe Swami never differentiate man or woman, or the gender based. Swami always very equal based, the equity in everything, maybe ancient days, maybe that's why Swami said helpless woman. Maybe that may be the reason.
See, the translation does not do justice, sister. Basically, Swami is saying grief-stricken is the word, actually, not helpless. A grief-stricken woman crying is a better translation than helpless. I think why Swami used a woman instead of man is, I think, the question you asked. See, the reality is women are more emotional than men. At least they, men, even if they're sad, they may not like to show it. That is a tendency. Whereas women wear their emotions on their sleeves, so as they say, you know, so they express. I think that's what Swami may be referring to. Swami never says everyone is equal. He says everyone should, you know, everyone is equal from an Atmic perspective. Each of us is actually different. Each of us have our own unique skills, our own unique strengths, our own unique weaknesses. So each one is different. Swami, the same Swami would say there are women, he has spoken very highly also of women. The thing is, women have their own inherent strengths and weaknesses. There are men who have their own inherent strengths and weaknesses. I think that's what is, so it's just, Swami, you know, Swami, actually, if you read Swami, Swami is never politically correct. He will just state the facts as they are. You know, it's not about, he treats everyone equally, but he will say, from a worldly perspective, Swami maintained distance from women than, you know, men, you know, but that's what the worldly dharma requires. Not necessarily he thought any lowly of women or highly of men. So I would just leave it at that. If others have something to say, can say. And one more thing, actually, Swami is actually talking to people in this world. You know, the language which he uses, the examples he uses are all that which a common man can understand. So he would use the language, and the manner of expressing ideas also would be the same as what people would normally understand. So I think Swami uses it that way also. I knew, you know, Swami, why did you say this? I was thinking. But, you know, he will say, you know, when Swami is not worried about what.
Maybe expressing maybe the sorrow and the anger, all kind of, just like you said, emotion, maybe expressing the emotions. Maybe the women are always more than men, you know, even the happy, sorrow, and anything, everything, expressing the emotions. The women are, you know, exceeding the men always, you know. That's why maybe Swami would have brought that, easy to express, you know, the happiness, sorrow, anger, everything. Women always win the men, you know. That's very true.
Sakwant, you want to say something?
No, in the Dharma Vahini, Baba has really praised women a lot when he was giving all in details about this three Dharma.
Yes, sir. And we should also understand, because see, Arjuna has come to the war front. There were no women fighters there. Okay, and everyone, whoever had assembled, were ready to fight. The only person who didn't want to fight and go back was Arjuna. So, you know, I think, you know, some of this language which Krishna used was to, you know, spur him to fight. And whatever he had to say, he would say.
Brother, we can take those words Swami Krishna has used to remove the delusion at that point of time, right? So he's maybe using those words to remove that. Thank you.
And also, I think we can look at it as Arjuna is the only one who doesn't want to fight, if that's the case. And the ways Krishna is speaking to Arjuna is in, like, you know, all this while he was trying to explain to him. Here, he's being a bit more harsh, blunt, if you want to say, to kind of, you know, like you said, to force his ego, or force him to kind of understand being in a very harsher way of saying, you know, all this while he's saying it nicely, and here now he's literally scolding him, if you read it in a way. I don't know, that's how I see it.
Sairam, another question. With the Arjuna declared anywhere, the I know everything kind of statement Arjuna declared, did Arjuna really declare, or maybe Krishna telling that from the conversation, maybe the implied that, you know, you know everything, but you behave like you know nothing kind of. But really Arjuna declared maybe in that first chapter, I know everything kind of.
So Arjuna did not say anything in any of his speech, you know, words that, you know, he knows everything. But the fact that he spoke as if he knew everything was enough, I guess. You know, at least
Sorry,
he knew. Pardon?
in the chapter at the beginning, he says, I am not so foolish as all that. Grant me Shreyas that is beyond the reach of my effort. Rest I can. The beginning he says, Priyas is available for human effort. It can be won by human activity or karma. Why should I crave for you what I can win by my own endeavor? Page 22.
So I also remember that, you know, he said that I'm not as foolish, or, you know, whatever Sakho auntie just now said. I was wondering whether, you know, he declared himself, you know, explicitly, you know, I know everything, but they maybe, you know, the way he is spoken, the way he asked the question, you know, maybe implicitly he declared that I am a wise man, you know, I know logically, you know, they think about and understanding about, and you know, and differentiate, discriminate, and all those things. Maybe that may be the reason Swami said, you declare you know everything.
Thank you, Sister. Brother Thasar, you have something to say, please?
Yeah, Saram brother. The reason Arjuna, everyone knows, he knows the spiritual side. The reason is, last time you mentioned that he went for a tabas, and even though the 5 elements were against to him, he achieved a powerful weapon from the Lord Shiva. So he knows everything, but he is asking not Kriyas, Shriyas. Shriyas means the spiritual path of goodness, the spiritual path. Kriyas
Yeah.
mean everything. So that's what he is asking from the Lord Krishna. Give me that one. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you,
That is
brother.
a
Thank you.
Lord's grace.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie. So if there are no other thoughts, maybe we can just move on. I think Swami is just, yes, Kalyani.
Just one small thing, you know, where there's like some brackets on the slide and it says wise liberated man. Is that just referring to the definition of pundit?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think they have missed the word Pandita there.
Okay.
And they put the translation alone. I don't know how. See,
Oh.
hearing you, one would infer you are a Pandit. Within brackets, they have put wise and liberated man, but the word Pandita is missing.
Okay.
Okay. Even in the Telugu, Swami has put within brackets, Panda means one who has the ability to, the buddhi or the intelligence to differentiate and know what is real. Okay. And only such a person who has that, it can be called Pandita. So that is something which is in the Telugu version, but it's not described here. Panda
Like,
means Swami calls it Tattva Nirnaya Buddhi. Tattva means philosophy. That Nirnaya means to establish intelligence. Intelligence which can establish what the real philosophical truth. Okay, that's called Panda. And one who has Panda is called Pandita. That's what Swami has written, which is not translated.
Okay. So Panda means like the intelligence to
Intelligence.
discriminate between what is real and what's not.
Yeah, the discriminative faculty which can discern the philosophical truth or tattva.
But in practical language, these some of the priests they call pandit. They maybe we call different terminologies, but in temples, some of the Indian temples or the West Indies temples here, they always call pandits. And in our language, in Tamil language also, we call Pandidar, that's also, the maybe whoever they have had, maybe mostly the language, the Tamil Pandidar or something, that Pandidar also same as this Pandit, or?
Some of the terms and sister have been, used very loosely by people. Pandita means one who is learned. A wise person is actually called Pandita. But people can declare that they are Panditas or they are gurus or whatever, but that is not necessarily the one which Swami is referring to here, or Krishna referred to. Now, for everything they will call it Pandit. He's a computer Pandit, and things like that.
Yeah, even in the English language also, whoever the mastered in one subject, they use the word guru or pandit. They even in any the kind of conversation in the the North American conversation, they use pandit or guru.
Yes. Okay, then we can move on. Yes, thank you, sisters.
The fully ignorant and the fully wise, both will have no grief over the living or the dead. Do you weep because the bodies of Bhishma and Drona will fall, or is it because the Atma of those who will be destroyed? For the bodies, do you say, well, are tears any good? If they are, certainly people would have kept the corpses of their dead and revived them by their weeping. No, it can never be. Immerse the body in vessels of Amirta, divine nectar. It cannot come back to life. Why then weep over the inevitable, the unavoidable? You might say that you are weeping for the Atma, the spiritual core. That reveals greater foolishness. Death can never even approach the Atma. It is eternal, self-evident, pure. It is evident that you have no Atmajnana, Atmic knowledge at all. Again, for the Shastriya, fighting is Swadharma. Do your duty regardless of other considerations. You ask, how can I cause the death of Bhishma in war? But they have all come to get killed and to kill. You are not killing them in their homes, of course. It is a dharma to kill them in their homes. But on the battlefield, how can it be against dharma? I am sorry, you have not got this much of viveka, wisdom.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami is talking about the futility of grieving over the dead. And the inevitability of death also Swami is highlighting. And he's also referring to Atma, which is never dead. And those are two things which Swami is covering there. And then the last paragraph, he's talking about dharma. That when in the battlefield, you don't, it's a warrior who is there, not a relative. You know, it's not someone who has come. So you just fight, is what he's telling. I will stop here. Anyone would like to share any thoughts? Please go ahead.
Brother Aruno, so we at so when we weep on, something happened to our nearest, a dear one, I don't know, is it the body we are weeping, or is the void that person's presence will create? Because I don't know if it's an attachment. I was just thinking about it. Is it the person, is the void? We get so used to of things, even sometimes non-living things. Sometimes it breaks, you're so used to. I mean, it might sound foolish, but if I'm using a cup since long time, that's my favorite cup. If it breaks, it's like, oh my God, I don't enjoy my tea anymore. So it's just, I don't know, it's an attachment, or you get so used to them, and when that thing is not there, it's a living or non-living thing, it's a void for a time being. Of course, people get healed, but we are weeping on the void it creates, isn't it? So how can we get over with, so that we don't weep on that, or we don't feel that missing piece? Does it make sense what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just not
Yes,
making a
yes.
difference in living and a non-living. I'm saying, oh, we get so used to of certain chairs I'm sitting on. I'm thinking everything as that. And when it breaks or something happens, you feel, oh my God, I was so comfortable. And it's not that. It's just a little sadness within you.
Okay, I will ask Brother Vardhan.
Yeah,
You were saying something.
Saram, and that is really, I would say that is an attachment. Even the people, like we don't see that some people we are very, very nice with, I don't know, like maybe own family member, maybe our parents or somebody, or real friends, very good friends, they are passed away or something. We are really missed because that is an attachment. We attach with that, even though some of the stuff we getting, like Sister Shivani mentioned, we just miss it that for a while, but then we getting over with it after that for a little while, and because we used it and we are very attached with it. But we are not attached with everything like that. Only a few things and few people we attach with it. And after they lost or something, we broke up the regular things, and then it is over. And for a while we miss it, and then we getting over with it. We live with it. That's how the life is. So if we don't attach with it, as the moment we think it, okay, everything comes and goes, nothing is real, it's not going to be stay with us forever, and then we doesn't miss it that way. So that is really the attachment, I believe. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else who can shed some light on why we feel sad?
So, Sairam, brother.
Yes.
So every day, so many people are dying. So we don't care, because if someone in our family member died, so we cry and everything because of the attachment, whatever they mention. So even if we take the car, if so many cars getting with an accident, so we don't care about that one. When our car met with the accident, we have to think, is happened to be happen. Now we have to take it as a toy. We have to change the car now. We should not worry about that one. Same thing, whatever Bharadan said, even Lord Krishna also told, even the spouse died or the husband died. After some months gone, they forget about, they will come back to the real life. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share?
I also think Shivani nicely put it two different non-living things and the living things. Non-living things, for example, if it's a cup or whatever your favorite things, exactly the same thing if it is replaced with your sorrow or your unhappiness, it would be it will be removed quickly. But if it's a living being, either the spouse or children or parents or pets or the living being are unique, even two pets, exactly the same thing, their behavior and everything, it would be different. It's like children, the spouse, they are very, very unique, it cannot be easily replaced, either one way or another. If you get one, that is for your lifetime. It cannot be replaced in certain circumstances. That's why that attachment it's very, very hard in practical life to be replaced with something else. Even though those are attachment too, but it's very hard in the human level. If we overcome those, the sorrow or the grief, if someone, they overcome those, it's almost closer to the, the very higher level spiritual people. They can overcome and they can, they move up without any further, without any further in the distractions or the mentally depressed or those circumstances, they can easily come out. For the ordinary people, because of the unique relationship, it's very hard to come out of that. Even Shivani mentioned that, Sister Shivani, void, that void, it would be longer time to fill with something else. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sister.
Also, when I look at the third paragraph, I don't know, I find that interesting. And I think Swami here is like speaking about the Sudharma in a sense from a different point of view. Like, how we all have different roles to play or different duty in a sense, or I mean, not different duty, different roles. Here he speaks about, you're not killing them at their home. This is at war. So this is a different place, we are at war and they have come to fight. So it's okay to fight. So when I look at it in reality, if we take our lives now, each of us have different roles to play. At home, we are mother, sister, daughter, whatever. At workplace, we are at whatever duty that we are given to us. And in, different places, we have different roles. So I find that here Krishna is actually asking him to be in the moment. Right now, you are at the battlefield and you are a warrior. So your dharma is to fight. So it's okay to fight. So here you cannot look at, this is your father, this is your brother, this is your uncle, whoever. So, and I think, I don't know, like, am I taking, the way I'm looking at this is correct? The Sudharma is different at different places or different duty or different roles you take at different places. It's okay for him to worry, this is an uncle at home, because then yes, at home you cannot fight like that. But here you're at a battlefield, so you cannot look at them as uncle. Is that how you look at it?
Okay, that's
I don't know
second
if my question
question.
is correct.
Yeah. So there are two questions out there.
Sorry, brother. That's the third paragraph is very nice. I also felt like that only because where Krishna is defining dharma and adharma. So dharma, when you duty also. So you have to do your duty on whatever the role that you are playing. And that time you shouldn't confuse with your relationship. So that kind of things, clearly Swami is giving this clear differentiation on this. Is very nice. Thank you, Saira.
And also, I love really that here Swami said, you ask, how can I cause the death of Bhishma in war? But they have all come to get killed or to kill. If you don't kill, they will kill you. So in the battlefield, both are equal. Either you will kill them or otherwise they will kill you. So it's kind of very, difficult situation. If you think that the Bhishma is your grandparent or almost like a parent, and if you don't kill him, if there is a chance, definitely the Bhishma would have killed Arjuna. That's why Krishna said, in the battlefield, you just think about the battle, for what you are really fighting, and take that dharma rather than the relationship at home. Because if you miss the chance, you will be killed, and all the the dharmic cause, it will be failed. That's sort of a really nice thing, that little wording. I really liked it.
Thank you, sister. I think I will just go back to Sister Shivani's question. And I think we have used the word relationship. I think one of the things which, if at home are we okay to cry, if at workplace should we not cry? I think that's the question. The reality is we all cry only for one reason, which is self-pity. I had something, now I don't have. Even not about the person who is died, what that person wants also is we never ask. There are people who are suffering with some long-term illness and bedridden and suffering. Even when they go, people cry. We just want them to, even if they are, can't function themselves, we want them to be around because we feel that we have that person. So I think most of the time, even we use different words we use, like relationship, duty, these are words we use. But the reality is, we think something which we had is not there. So ultimately, that is what Swami says, mamakara, it belongs to me. And I think which what Brother Dasan was also telling, that whatever we think belongs to us, we feel sad because we have lost it. So usually people cry only because they have lost something which belongs to them, which is nothing but self-pity. So I think Swami is talking about these topics because whenever we feel sad, we have to ask the question, why are we feeling sad? If we ask that question, we will get the answer. That Bhagavad Gita helps us ask that question, because all of us will face situations in life where there are disappointments of various kinds, which we lost something or some person or some situation, something. So I think Swami wants us to ask about that, whether it's worth even crying, even if you have lost something. Is it going to come back? But sometimes we cry because we want to feel that, okay, we feel for the person or we feel for the thing. So it gives us a sense of, I am a good person. I have, I love that person, something like that. But actually it's a proof of that we love ourselves a lot, I think.
Lovely, brother. You mentioned that. You know what? My father passed away almost 20 years ago, more than 20, I would say, 22 years ago. And still my mom, somewhere along the line, she will bring that relationship. She still misses him and all of that. And somehow exactly what you're saying, and ask, Mom, have you ever asked, why do you miss him? Have you ever asked? And then after a couple of weeks back, we talk again. She said, you know what? I'm actually selfish. I'm missing him because there's certain things we, as a husband and wife, we used to do. So I'm not able to do that. So I said, see, we are missing somebody, as you said, because of our own reason, because I am not getting certain things, right? So, and then we talk very openly about death and all of that. What I'm learning from this study circle, and both of them actually laughed at it, how human beings, we are selfish. Deep down, we don't realize. We say it's a love, it's anything. We are selfish. Both of us, we were I don't know, should I put that way, but both of us, we were saying, you know what, we miss people because what's in it for me? I'm missing because I'm not getting this anymore. Sairam.
Sairam, sister.
That is very lovely, Sister Shivani. The most of the time, I really love that point. If that person is not here with us, we will miss those, the opportunities, or we will miss those, the facilities and this and that, that would be, that's why always, when we say the people or the affection with other people, because for our happiness, even when we say I love you, when we do something that is for our happiness rather than the other people, exactly. You brought a really lovely point. Sometimes we will tell I cannot forget that person. I cannot. It's really hard for me to and because of our selfishness, maybe if we really analyze, maybe the bottom line, it would be coming that because I have missed those maybe opportunities, maybe I have missed that facility, maybe now I am living in a, the tiny little apartment, or those things, that also really good reason why we say, why we grieve for longer time when the person is lost. Immediate grieving, that is natural, and when the people after even 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, if they really grieve, there is the bottom line, there is the selfishness. Thank you, loving Sairam Shwani. I really like that point.
Because she always complained about her son doesn't spend time with her. So, and her husband used to. So I said, leave your son alone. He has his own life. You find Bhagawan as your companion. Why you have to look, even though my brother is the sweetest and the lovely person, I would say, but you need those moments you used to spend time with certain people. So she's missing those things. And then she realized, yeah, I am just getting attached to things which is no reason, and I should be more inclined towards Bhagawan and being companion, maybe not in the form, but just talk to him. Sorry, I am good in lecturing my mom, actually.
Sairam, I love the Anandi's and Shivani's point of view. They are both correct. And I agree with them. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, Auntie, thank you. Brother Thasan, you have raised your hand.
Sairam, brother. So the Dharma, the Arjuna's Dharma, he has to fight because of when they failed the dice game, that Panchali and Bhiman took the oath, and that whatever the oath they have taken. So here, before even the going to the Kurukshetra war, Arjuna agreed to participate in the war. So now he came, and if he's going, now he's saying he's not going to fight that is against the Dharma. He's forgetting his others, whatever the oath, and he also agreed. Now he's failing. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So if everyone is okay, we can. I don't know whether anyone wants to dwell on one of the points. If not, we'll move. I think Swami is still continuing to talk about this till the end of this chapter. Anyways, please go ahead, sister.
Oh, Uncle, I don't know. Did Narmada's question get answered?
Yes.
Narmada's
question, I think it was answered.
Okay.
Sister Narmada, are you okay? I think
sort of, yes. The question was like, I was asking like, well, it was an ask and a statement also, in a sense, like we all have, so basically our duties differ where we are, kind of, right? At home, we are somebody else, and at the war or at workplace, we are somebody else. So here, like, so basically for what Krishna is telling Arjuna is like, at home, yes, this is your uncle, this is your brother, so you cannot kill them, yes. But now this is a battlefield, they've come for a war, so here you are a warrior, you have to fight. So He's not a warrior all the time. It's just at the moment, right? So is that how we look at it? That's what I was
Yeah,
asking.
I think Swami has talked about this called kartavyam, you know, wherever and whatever the situation is, you need to behave according to that situation and circumstances and what is expected of you, without mixing up your other roles. You know, so I think it applies to even in modern day world. You know, when you are at work, you cannot show you know, preferences for people who are known to you or people, you know, who are related to you. It's not considered right. So I think which is the same as kartavyam, which Swami is talking about here. You are in the war field, and so you are here to fight. If you are in the workplace, you are there to work. We should not mix your personal and, you know, official
Professional work sort of, yeah.
professional work. You know, I think that's true. So it's Swami is also talking about how we should do our own work, whether at home or whether at any other place. Like if we come, when we come to the center, we should any home relationship should not exist at the center. You know, everyone should be the same. They are all members of a congregation. When we go home, there are roles with each child or, you know, each parent or, you know, spouse. You have your role, which you all have agreed to, and then we discharge those duties. I think that's what Swami wants us to I think that's what is discussed in those 8 shlokas. Yeah, I hope that.
Yes.
I guess
Thank
Happy?
you.
one
Yes.
statement that Narmada makes, like, remember you were saying how, like, does that mean your swadharma changes, or is swadharma, or is Swami going to be talking about swadharma more later on? Or because I thought swadharma is like the highest dharma, like your atmic dharmas.
Yes, I think, you know, Swadharma is knowing, functioning in this world, knowing that you are Atman.
Okay.
Okay. See, the thing is, when we are, whatever we are doing, whether at home or at work, we should not forget that we are the Atman. Because once we have that understanding, we will just play the role of the body in any given situation. See, but the problem is, if we forget that Swadharma, that we are Atman, then we will get attached and we will not know who we are. Okay. So I think from that sense, that Swadharma, you're acting with Swadharma everywhere. Okay. With the awareness that you are Atman. Because once we have that awareness, then we will not be deluded by bodily relationships given based on different circumstances. Okay. But the reality is, because we are in this world, we have to function. Even, you know, Krishna says he is, or though he doesn't need to act, he acted. Like Krishna came as a charioteer, then he did the job of a charioteer. You know, he didn't fight there. You know, even though he saw, he could have, his blood may have been boiling also. You know, he can also jump and fight, but he took on a role, so he discharged that role. So I think that's what Swami is referring to, because he was able to perform that role because he was always aware that he is the Atman. So if we are not aware of that we are Atman, we will not be able to discharge our duties in this world properly. Okay, I think that's my understanding. So I hope it's okay. Because it comes with very many different layers of action, you know. But at the core level, we need to be aware that we are the Atman, we are not the body. Because once you have that, our attachments will never bind us. I think that's what Swami is. Okay, I hope that's okay.
Thank you. And where Swami says the fully ignorant and the fully wise both will have no grief over the living or the dead. So the fully ignorant, is that just like, I don't know, is there any significance to that, or?
Yeah, I think the thing is, if, for example, a person is so selfish also, so selfish, and that if you're very, very selfish, you are not attached to anyone because you're only attached to yourself. Okay, and a very selfish person, if somebody is, then they will just let go of that person and go get whatever else they want. because they will say now because they're so selfish that they are not worried about what happens to anyone. Okay, so they will never be sad about anything happening to anyone. Whereas I think that that's what I think Swami calls completely ignorant. In the sense they think that they are the body so much that they don't care for anyone. People, even whether at home or whether at work, they will just look out for themselves, and they will use the situation. I think that's, and they are never sad if anything happens to anyone. Of course, they'll be sad if something happened to them, but generally they will not be about others. I think that's what Swami is talking about. I don't know, others can say, yes.
Sairam, brother. So you said Swadharma is you mean that the person to realize that he is a Atma. But here Swami is saying as this is the Varna Dharma he's referring to. So Swadharma now related to the Shastri Dharma here. So Atmic Dharma is different from Swadharma. Am I right or not?
So that was exactly. So that was exactly the question from Kalyani, Sister Kalyani. The thing is, she said, so see, we should never compartmentalize dharma, especially the Atma Dharma. Okay, the Atma Dharma is universal, and if I say I'm following my Swadharma, knowing that I am Atman, and sit in one place where I have to do some work, that means I am not discharging that dharma as an Atman, because everything actually is an extension of Atma only. The Varna is also an extension of Atma. The Ashrama is also an extension of Atma, because the world is also an extension of God. So the thing is, once you know that, but whatever you are doing, whether you are doing the Varna Dharma or the Ashrama Dharma, we need to do it with the awareness that we are the Atman. We can't say at this point in time, I'm not going to think I'm Atman, I'm just going to fight. No, here actually Krishna is telling Arjuna, know that you are the Atman, then you will fight. See, Arjuna's main problem, he could not discharge his Kshatriya Dharma, the role which he has taken on, only because he forgot that he is the Atman. If Arjuna realized that he was the Atman, he will not have any problem. That's why Swami says, the fully wise also will not grieve. He will fight. He will say nothing is, it's no problem. If somebody dies also, it's okay. The body is dying, the Atman is alive. So I think what Swami is telling is, so I think Kalyani's thing is, the real Swadharma is thinking that we are Atman. Then this is Varna Dharma. What I am saying is, for you to be able to discharge your Varna Dharma or Ashrama Dharma, you should not give up your Swadharma, which the real underlying, the foundation, which is that you are Atman. I hope that's my understanding, sister, but I will open it up for others to share.
Yes, brother, I got it now. Because Atma Dharma is Swadharma is top of Atma Dharma. So if you believe that Atma Dharma, then you will be discharging your duty. Thank you, Saira.
So, but if you are like, just in the case of the gopis, like I think they would be quite highly evolved, so they were probably always aware of their swadharma, but then didn't they then not do their other dharmas?
Very, very good question, sister. Very good question. See, gopis, from what I understand, okay, this is my understanding. I think then it's a separate study circle. But because you have asked the question, did the gopis neglect their ashrama dharma? It's a question. If they were mothers, did they discharge their duty? Or if they were spouses, did they discharge their duty is the question. And usually they neglected. Okay, usually they neglected their job. Okay. Is that okay is the question which you're asking. Okay. They were so caught up with Krishna in their mind that they were not even aware that they are not doing their work. Okay. But then, you know, Krishna was forced to come to their help. He has to make sure that things get done. So there are many stories where Krishna came to their help, and he did their work when they were thinking of like, you know, there's a devotee Swami very fondly talks about, called Shanta Sakubai. You know, she wanted to go to Pandharipur and have darshan of Vittala, and Krishna came and told her, you go, I will do the work. And he took the form of Sakubai and stayed home and did all the work. So that is ultimate surrender. They not intentionally neglect the job. They were so immersed in the thought of Krishna that things got neglected, yes. But if we reach that state, we are one with the Lord. Then that's, you know, that's where, I don't know, Krishna had already spoken, you know, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasite Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga. That is a guarantee by Krishna. If you are only thinking of me without any other thought, I will take care of everything. Gopis fall under that category. But Arjuna and all of us, we fall in the middle category. That's, you know, they fall under the totally wise people. Okay, they fall under the totally wise because they are so totally immersed in the thought of Krishna, and Krishna will take care of it. Okay, that's my understanding. It's only for the middling God has to help, you know. He cannot help the totally ignorant. He cannot help, he doesn't need to help the totally wise. It's only somewhere in between, I think God has to come and help us. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Brother Dasan.
Sairam, brother, I agree with your point, because gopis, they don't have any knowledge what is Atma, what is spiritual, but they only know love. Other than the love, they don't know anything. So here, once you educated, you have the ability to debate.
Hello.
So here Arjuna is debating. Even learned people, they always debate. The person who surrender spiritual side, they never do that one. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam.
Sorry
Yes,
to
Kalyan.
ask again, but it was such an interesting point. You said that if we're not thinking that we are the Atman and doing our duty, then we can't actually discharge our duty properly because we have these attachments. Okay, but is that like, but isn't that like for example, if you have a child, like, don't you need to have some attachment to that child in order to care for it? Like, can you really be truly unattached and bring up a child? And
So you are a doctor, so you should be able to understand that better, because you go to the hospital, you see a patient, the patient is suffering. They are not your family, your relative, or your child. If there's a baby brought to you who is suffering, do you attend to that baby or not?
yes,
With all the best faculties you have, want to be objective.
yeah, that's
So
true.
that's all. It is not that you neglect the child which came to the hospital, which is not your child.
Mm,
So the thing is, actually you are more effective. You should not treat your child, you know that, no?
yeah,
Because you will lose objectivity. Okay, but when you think you are the Atman, you will have objectivity. You will empathize with the suffering of the child, and you will have compassion for the child. Those are qualities of love. So I think your effectiveness in caring for anyone will not be lost just because you are thinking that you are the Atman. Because you will know, in this situation, this is the best I can do. I will do the best. I will feel the pain. God has put me in this spot to discharge a duty or service, seva, as dedication. I will do the best. But there are things which you won't be able to do, even for a patient or even for your child, which only God can come and do. And you will not be worried about it. You will rather pray than feel sad and cry. So when you know that you are the Atman, you will be the perfect, the most optimal person in this world, because you will give the best you can. What you cannot do, you cannot deal with, you will pray, and you'll still be happy. And that's my understanding.
Thank you. That's a really, really good metaphor that clarifies it a lot. Yeah, because when it comes to my son, I make very poor decisions. I could not be his doctor, but that makes so much sense, because when I think about all the times I've been a bad parent or like have, yelled or lost my temper, it's because of probably that feeling that, oh, this is my child, or how could he do this, or that kind of the attachment, the ego. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. Can I add something here? I know I won't take long. Thanks, Brother Aruno and Sister Kalyani, for bringing that question. I don't know if you all remember, I think it was Geetha Vahini or Sunday Nivarni. There was a section we were reading about each child born with a karma, and I asked question, no, as a parent, it's my duty to make sure the child is, Swami has given me that. And Brother Aruno, you said, kids born with their own karma. Yes, we have to nourish them. We have to take care of them. But with the thought process that he has given us that duty to perform, and what is the best way we can do it. And afterwards, because I was thinking that how the child will turn, it will be 100% my responsibility. Still, I believe, yes. But that's that discussion, that time, it has been maybe 7-8 months. It helped me so much that now I pray more than arguing with them. Now it's more like I am doing my duty by telling them, but there's no argument between me and my girls at all now. If I feel I'm doing right or not, they're not, they're not, I think it's more bullying. I can say myself, why they're not listening me. I consider myself, why they're not listening to me. They should listen to me, and they're not doing the right thing. I'm their mother and they don't know the repercussion of that. I come and pray to Swami rather than talking to them. So as Sister Kalyani and Brother Aruno, you have said, we will pray more once we realize it's just our duty. And of course, we have to do our due diligence. But at the same time, they are human beings. They are that Atma. I am that Atma. And you know what? Just enjoy the journey on this planet. Thank you so much.
Sairam, sister. Yes, Brother Dasan.
So Sairam, brother, I'd like to add to the point too about the kids and everything. So Swami says, do it with love. So love means without the expectation anything. So you have to have the attachment only with the God. If you have the attachment with the kids, that will bring you desire, and the desire bring you angry, and you will get ego. Then you will lose everything. So duty with love is an important thing. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. Okay, I think we have. Yeah, okay, we will read this and we can. Thank you.
It is enough. Get up and get ready for the fray. Why slide to the ground under the weight of all this useless ego? The Lord is the cause of all, not you. There is a higher power that moves everything. Know this and bend your will to it. Bhishma, Drona, and the rest have come like true soldiers and Shastriyas to engage in battle. They do not weep like you. Consider that. They will never grieve or withdraw. Arjuna, this is the testing time for you. Remember. Let me tell you this also. There was never a time when I was not. Why? There was never a time when even you and all these kings and princes were not. That the divine is the Paramatma, creator, universal soul. Tvam, this yourself, is the Jivatma, embodied being. And both were the same, are the same, and will be so forever. Prior to the pot, in the pot, and after the pot, it is, and will be mud.
Thank you, sister. So Swami is further, explaining and clarifying things for us, and how we should act. There's.
Can you
Yes.
explain the last line, brother? Like prior to the pot, in the pot, and like that last line,
So the mud is considered the Atman.
Oh.
Okay, the mud is the source material with which everything is made, and the mud becomes the pot. In the pot also it's mud. When the pot breaks also it's mud. So the mud is never destroyed. The pot is destroyed, and but you can make another pot because you have the mud or the clay, whatever you want to call it. So
Right.
the clay or the mud stands for the Atman, with which everything in this world is made. Okay, so I think that's what Swami is referring to.
I don't know. Can you explain? This is the testing time for you. Remember, let me tell you this also. There was never a time when I was not. Why? There was never a time when even you and all these kings and princes were not. That is Paramatma, is the Paramatma. Can you explain? So they didn't have any form at that time? They were Paramatma only?
See, whether there is form or not, the Atman exists. So when Krishna says there was no time in, the Atman has always existed. They may have they have donned many clothes, which is the body, over centuries, over yugas, but they will always be there. So the thing is, once we know that, Krishna says you will not worry. When you don't know that, you will worry. So when Krishna says I was there all times, means not in the same body, maybe in many different bodies, many different lifetimes. I think sometimes we don't want to have a body. We think we should not be having a body, but the Atman has to reside somewhere. It may be not a human body. It can be in plants. It can be in, because we can't escape from this world. Okay, so I think there's later on in Bhagavad Gita, he says every soul, it sheds the body and takes on another body. So you can have it. You're just wearing different clothes. So that's what Krishna is referring to, from what I understand. Whether you are part of the Tat or whether you are part of the Tvam, you are still the same. That's why, whether you are in the pot or you are just a mud, there's mud in both. So I think that's what he's referring to. I hope
Thank you.
yeah. So, but we like our body so much that we don't want to let go of this body.
Yeah.
So, Sairam brother, even the Lord Krishna was saying these were Bhishma and Dronacharya. They were before too, and I know that I was there too, even you too. But because of your spiritual knowledge, you don't know whether they lived or whether you cannot remember those kind of things. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, in the very last sentence, prior to the pot, in the pot, and after the pot, it was is and will be mud.
You can see the turban.
Up until now, I always thought the mud, it would be equivalent to a body. That's why even in our religious rituals and everything, you know, maybe the clay pot, it would be, you know, the broken, and the body would go, and the Atma will you know, get into the, you know, merge with the universe or something. But here, the way Swami explained, Mat will be equivalent to Atma, yeah? Prior to the pot, that is before our birth, in the pot, that is in this birth within the body, and after the pot, that is after we die. It was previously, it is in the current body, and after it will be Mat. So here the Mat is equivalent to Atma. Yeah.
Sister, in the Vedantic parlance, even the 5 elements are divine. Okay, just the way the Atman also changes, the elements also continuously change. Elements are not different from the Atman. The elements are not different from the Atman. We are also made of the Atman. God is, even in the mud, there's God. In the water also, there's God. The 5 elements are actually different manifestations of the same divinity. Even if you look at the elements, then you will say you have to go, if you go deep down, there are only atoms. And if you go within the atom, there is nothing. You know, there is most of it is space and energy. There is still, there's argument, is an atom particle or energy? It's a raging controversy in science. So the thing is, it is in this manifested world, the divine keeps on changing the formations of the elements. So even though we are inhabiting this body, what the material of the made of this body is also Atman. So we should not think that Atman is thinking that this is separate from the Atman is the problem. So in this, in Vedanta, everything is Atman, including the matter is also Atman, but it's just a manifestation is different. Okay, so yes, you are saying mud pot. Our body is equated to mud pot because it's made of what's called Prithvi, the earth element. So and the water is so things change. That's all, but that is part of creation. But we will disperse, and again when we again take a body, again all the elements will come back and form another body. Just the way the Atman comes back into another body, the elements also form a body. So we should not think that the elements are different from God.
Yeah.
Understand.
So the 5 elements also, in a different form of Atma, they're still Atma, but in the different form.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I think it's 4:23. Why don't we close the session today if it's okay, and we'll continue, and we can contemplate on whether we are the pot or the mud or what, and come back. Okay. Sairam. We'll close with Samastaloka and Shanti. Sairam. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति 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 Sairam everyone.
Sairam,
Yes,
brother.
Sairam.